Your voice.
Your station. Let's walk the talk.
702 Summer.
So as families reset after the festive season and they prepare for the new school year, many households are quietly trying to navigate something that's rather emotionally demanding, and that is co-parenting under pressure. And so for that conversation, we have Dr. Tumi Mashego, who's a clinical and sports psychologist on the line. Tumi, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Let's try that again. Good morning, and thank you for having me. Good morning to the listeners.
And happy New Year's Eve. Is it New Year's Eve? Christmas
To you
Eve.
too.
Christmas Eve.
Well, it's close enough.
Yeah, also, we've been working. I've lost track. The conversation that we're having today, Dr. Tumi, is an important one, and it's around co-parenting, particularly for school-going children. We're on the cusp of the new school year, and some families may be a little anxious about how they are going to be navigating the co-parenting situation as children transition into this new phase. We've all seen that awkward first day of school picture, haven't we? Where there's the parents and you wonder whether the new partners or the new spouses should be in the pictures. Should they not be? Should they feature? It can be a really tricky situation, right?
Definitely. And I think we also have to understand that for two people to be co-parenting is because a relationship ended, whatever type of relationship it was, be it a marriage or, a long-term relationship, sometimes a short-term relationship that, led to a consequence of this bundle of joy. So it's always quite not so easy for parents to actually navigate this space, especially where schools also, form such a big part of, the parenting role where you get involved, you need to be involved. But also I think society as a whole, there's so much pressure on having mom and dad, doing this thing, which is good. But also it can also, cause a bit of tension because, one of the parents is still struggling to process the end of the relationship.
How important is it to have a routine, because I suppose the children moving from home, some children live in another home and then another home at a different time of the year or whatever the situation is. Routine is really important in the lives of children, but it can be disturbed or affected by a co-parenting situation if we're not careful.
Definitely. And I think for parents, I always say to them, it's always about the children. Right? The child first before your feelings. It doesn't matter how you feel about the person you are co-parenting with. Please put the child first. But it's not always easy. And because after relationships end, people don't come see us. Come see us. Let's process. Let's navigate through that loss. Let's grieve so that you are able to move on and you're not triggered by the existence of your partner in spite of them not changing. Because obviously if the relationship ended, some it's cordial, but rarely is it because, people are still there's still that emotional baggage. But definitely with children, there needs to be a routine, structure, and consistency. Right, because as children, need this consistent thing so that they feel, grounded. Otherwise, it can cause disruption in their studying life or just in their emotional development as well.
And just how bad can it get just in these co-parenting situations? I mean, I've heard of some crazy stories of, parents fighting between who should take the child to school, first day of school, who should pick the child up, who should be in these pictures, who should not. What are some of the worst situations that you've seen?
There has been. I always say, working with couples, you see them at the end of the day for me, because wow. And you first see them separately, then you see them together. Otherwise, if you bring them in when they're still very emotional, it can be like a boxing match or a tennis match where they're swinging from one end to the other and you're struggling to be the referee. But definitely it can be quite hectic where, there's no structure. But that's why then we need to bring in the social workers to have, a parenting plan in place. And, the nitty-gritty such as who takes the child to school must be included in there so that there is no disruption, putting the child first all the time. So I think it's really important to have that parenting plan, that legal document, so that you take responsibility. The onus is on that parent to do their part, in that agreement all the time. but everything should be included, down right to who must pay what and how much. And of course, situations change. Some people might lose a job, for example, unfortunately, or there might be another partner getting, into the picture. But that all must be clarified in there legally so that there is no squabbles.
Yeah, so it's the importance of a parenting plan, which I've also learned can be a legal document. I had no idea that a parenting plan can be viewed as a legal document and can be binding.
Definitely, because if you're not doing your part, then you can, the same way you deal with any legal documents, there can be, some sort of repercussions for that. And I think it's important, especially when it's coming, where there's a lot of emotions. It's like somebody getting divorced. There's so many emotions. So things must be written down legally so that if you're not doing your part, you will need to account. So it helps in that regard, because when there's abstract things like emotions, it can be quite complex, and everybody feels like they are right and the other person is wrong. So it's quite important to help them be objective in prioritizing that bundle of joy.
We're speaking about navigating the co-parenting space, particularly for school-going children. How are you going about it? And has it been a difficult journey or an easy one? Some people are very lucky. They have it easy. You guys get along and you figure it out very well, and things work out. And that's usually to the benefit of the children more than anyone. But I'm taking your calls on 011-883-0702 or your WhatsApps on 072-702-1702. Let's take a call from Tulu. You're in Centurion, and you also want to speak about your co-parenting situation. Good morning.
Morning. Good morning to me, Dr. Dumi. How are you? And to all the listeners.
Good morning. I'm well, thanks, and yourself.
I'm good. Okay. And the minute I heard the topic, I just felt I need to weigh in because, I've been married twice, so it became very interesting. Okay. So I had 3 kids with my first husband, and then I got remarried. And what I said to my second husband was that I am not looking for a father for my kids because they have a father, he's present. But you are a father figure, and you are going to be present in our lives. So you all have different roles that you need to play. So I don't want to lie. It wasn't easy in the beginning. I'll say the first 6 months. But after that, all the grade 1 pictures, everybody is there, 16-year birthdays, everybody is there, plays, everything, And I just wanted to talk to the narrative, how it's always seen as negative, like, oh, there's a step-parent and they're not going to be there. And, why must this person be in my pictures? Why must this person be here? Because it's our child. Things like that.
Yes. I'm interested in that too. How did you navigate that first day of school picture?
It was interesting, but we all looked good.
That's important.
No, it was interesting, to be honest. I don't want to lie, but everybody was an adult. Everybody was an adult about things. Nobody was being petty. We knew why we were there. We're not there for our issues. We're there because of the children. So we made them feel so nice. We even went to Spur, I think, afterwards.
Oh, wow.
All of us. Yes. Just to say, okay, Nana, we're well done. After school, we all picked him up and we did that. And we did it with the other ones,
Yeah.
And yes, so it's something that we've navigated, I would like to believe, quite well. And I would like to, encourage people to actually look at things and realize that it's not about you, it's about the children.
Sure. Thank you so much for that, Tulu. That's such a beautiful contribution. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. Oh, and also, Dr. Tumi, you are a year ahead of me at school, so you are an amazing sprinter, and yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. One day when I grew up as a sprinter, I wish I would be like you, but hey, I couldn't run.
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you for that.
And have a lovely Christmas.
All right. Thank you for that.
Bye.
You too.
And I suppose that's what's important, Dr. Dumi, the fact that everyone is an adult about it, everyone understands that this is about the child and we're prioritizing the needs of the child.
Definitely. And that's why it's important for both parents to whether they also bring in new partners. I miss that, whether the other ex also had a new partner. It would have been interesting to see where they, 4 parents standing there for the first day of school for the baby. But it's good to be mature about it and to understand that it's not about us. It's not that, it's about the child, and always make it about the child and make the child understand why they've got, such an array or a number of parents. It's, not the normal 2. So I think, or rather the supportive structure that is there for them, why they have 4 people there and not 2.
Yeah.
But it sounds like, you always need to prioritize that baby all the time.
And I mean, when it comes to the other parents, so the additional parents, the new partners of the parents, how do we navigate that space with them and making them comfortable? Sometimes the 2 primary parents are okay and they get along just fine. Sometimes they get along too fine. But they're okay, and they're having a good relationship. But then now you must think about weaving in the other partners, because you need companionship, and you people remarry and they have new relationships. It's life.
I think it's very important to have sort of rules about how to navigate this. So when you bring in a partner into this picture, make sure that you're both on the same page. And sometimes it's sad to see that the new partners often think that they can handle it until they cannot handle it anymore. So meaning they agree in the beginning, but as time goes by, they feel, somewhat, because, this other X is always coming into the picture. So they also need to be mature about it and understand that it's not about the X, it's about the child. So I think the rules need to be quite clear, and also preempt some of the things that will happen, so that difficult conversations. And if you know that you cannot handle your partner now communicating with their ex, which they have to because there's a baby, that then you must make a decision and be honest about whether you can handle it or not. Because some people think, no, we'll just see to finish, I'll just go in, I love children, and then you get in there and it's a different story. So I think the people also coming into the picture need to be honest whether they can handle this dynamic or not, especially when the babies are still young. It's quite different when the child is over 18 and quite independent. But when they're still small, it becomes quite complicated. So people must really be honest whether they can handle this dynamic or not.
Sure. We're speaking about co-parenting, particularly for school-going children. Of course, we're a few weeks away from the new academic year, and some families are going to have to, adjust their parenting now that their children are going to school. How are you navigating co-parenting in this space? Is it working for you? And do you have it figured out, or are you still struggling? Let's take a voice note.
Hi, KG. It's Ferozia from Kibble Park. So I have a co-parenting situation with my ex-husband. And funny enough, we never really sat down and spoke about anything or decided what we're going to do. It's not in black and white, but we made the conscious decision that at the end of the day, even though things did not work out between the 2 of us, we're going to be there for my son. I will not lie. He was not a good husband, but he is the best father my son could ever have. If I tell you that I don't pay for school fees, come January, I don't have the stress about stationery and all of that, because he does all of that for my son. And my son is absolutely living the best life from both sides. So I think I'm very lucky in that aspect.
I think that's just so beautiful. Thank you so much for that voice note. And it can be positive. I love the fact, Dr. Dumi, that we're hearing so many positive stories, people that are actually making it work.
Definitely, it's not always easy, but I think when you've sort of processed the emotions around the separation and understanding the baby first before anything, then it becomes easier. But the struggle comes when you're still holding a whole lot of emotional baggage from the relationship that you're unable to see past your ex and be able to raise this child together. Then it becomes problematic.
Yep, let's take more of your voice notes.
Good morning, 702. Yes, Department of Justice has a an office called the Family Advocate, the Office of the Family Advocate. And there are normally advocates there that deal with family issues, and they have social workers as well. And they will help any member of the public free of charge to put together a parenting plan. So this is if you're unmarried, unmarried parents or married parents, excuse me. And so even if you're traveling with your kids abroad, they would then put together a plan for you, just an agreement between the parents. And that actually can be made legal at the High Court in Johannesburg as well, can be legalized. So, and that covers all aspects of not just, who's taking the child to school or not, but also with regards to visitation, maintenance, payments, and who's responsible for the child. So it's usually a 50-50. It should be a 50-50 between the parents. But yeah, I think it's something valuable for parents to explore and maybe not try to figure out or work out on their own. And it just helps with the stability of the child as well, so that, parents can get on with their lives and they can co-parent their children peacefully. It's the advice that I give to many people who have come to me and who are in a situation either where they're separating or the partner's going abroad, or they're going through a divorce, and I always refer them to the Office of the Family Advocate. This is Judith.
Thank you so much, Judith. It's so good to know that these systems are available for parents who might need them, and that you don't have to almost just figure it out on your own. I can imagine how daunting it could be, and how how daunting it usually is, Dr. Dumi, for parents who are new in this co-parenting. They've kind of figured out the separation, the split, and the divorce, but they really don't know where to start. But the fact that we have these systems and mechanisms available to them, I think, is really encouraging.
Definitely, parents should know that, the system always wants to protect children first. It's always children first before the adults. And we need to make sure that children thrive in spite of, the differences we have as adults. But also to understand that, even if your relationship didn't work and, it might still be difficult, even if you've got this document, come see us. So come and vent to us, not to the child. If, the father or the mother is still a bit difficult in spite of the parenting plan being there. Come and vent to us, and also go back to, the office of that was spoken about where this can be legalized. Go back to them to say this person is not putting up what it is they're supposed to do. They're not, sticking to the plan. Therefore, go hold them accountable so that they do what they need to do. But please do not, get it vented out onto the child, because sometimes that's what parents tend to do when they are emotional.
Doctor, I'm interested in how parents can shift their mindsets from the winning mentality. So where you want to be the winner in this, you want to come out on top. How can you shift from that and make it more about the next person, but the child more than anything? Because I think at the end of relationships, there tends to be this quiet competition between the parents, and sometimes you even want to be the better parent, the cooler parent, and that's not always to the benefit of the child.
Definitely. And hence, after a separation, please come and navigate through, whatever it is that you went through with your partner. Remember, the only thing you can control is yourself and your reactions. Therefore, you need to make sure that you are okay. And maybe the child also, because sometimes, for example, couples have this idea that one person wanted the child, and then as soon as the one is pregnant, then the relationship breaks down. So there is so much resentment, sometimes not just towards your ex-partner, but sometimes towards the child, that you still need to work through. Right. So I think that is self-awareness is quite important, for people to go through and to grieve the relationship that they thought they had, that they do not have, and also to understand that their partner, it just didn't work out, and there could be various reasons why. But I think it's just important to do that inner reflection so that you are able to stand in spite of your ex-partner's limitations.
I think we can squeeze in a final voice note for this hour just before we go take our news headlines. Let's take a listen.
Good morning, Dr. Dumi. I think you can help. I got a situation whereby there was this legally adopted girl, daughter. Now she is in desperate need. The father who married the mother who adopted the daughter, the mother has now passed on. Now the father who married the mother who adopted the daughter is chasing the daughter out of the house. And the mother had assets, that is taxis and houses. Now the current father is chasing the daughter away from the house where she stays. Now the daughter is loitering around, but fortunately she's got her friends' parents that made it simple for that particular daughter to stay with them on temporary basis. Can you please come to this girl's assistance? She is desperately in need of help.
All right, I think we'll take this and have this conversation after the news headlines, and let's see what's available to this lady.
702.
WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
Hi, 702, Jenny G. It's really sad that we have to prioritize the children all the time in a broken relationship, because actually children feed off their parents. So if mum and dad are there, the kids will watch how daddy treats mommy, how mommy behaves with daddy, love, respect, and they will learn from that. We don't have to prioritize the children at all. We have to prioritize the relationship. And unfortunately, these days it's till it's over, not till death do us part. Cheers.
All right, we're taking more of your voice notes on the co-parenting situation, and that's true. I think we just need to remember what this is all about and who, we're doing this for, who parents are co-parenting for, and whose benefit this is for. I think sometimes we forget, parents forget, and it becomes a competition more than, parenting this child that you both love. This is the Clement Manyetala Show. Right here on 702. My name is Khomozo Modise. I'm in for Clement this morning, and it's 10:35. That means we're having our Listener's Choice feature today, and our conversation is with Dr. Dumi Mashego, who is the clinical and sports psychologist. We're speaking about co-parenting, navigating co-parenting, particularly for school-going children. How are you finding this space? Is it working for you? And how are you making it work? I'm really interested in the ways that you've gone about making it work. I'm also very happy that we've gotten so much response from people who are making it work, who are succeeding, which is an important story to tell, because it can sometimes seem like it's all doom and gloom and it will never work. But some people are making it work. So my guest, Dr. Dumi, we had heard a voice note just before we took the news headlines. I don't know if you were able to hear that voice note and if we can address it. Do you need for us to play it again?
No, I think I did hear it about the little girl who was adopted by the late mother, hey, and the father is chasing the little girl out. Yes. I wonder how old the child is. But if they've called, it's probably still someone who's younger than 18. Mm-hmm. But nonetheless, so the child's court that was talked about earlier, that's the starting point where they can go just to, help this child, fight this battle. But if they don't know their nearest court or office there where they stay, they can also find the nearest social worker around the area to take up the case to ensure that that child is, assisted. And also, the father or the stepfather in that situation to be reprimanded and, to be held accountable for chasing out a child at that age.
And what systems can one put in place? I know that this is not necessarily based on co-parenting, but once you've adopted a child and you've got a new partner now who might not be, or who's not the child's biological parent, what systems can you put in place to kind of prevent or maybe cushion the blow, from something like this happening?
Definitely, there should be something written on paper that, the child, the child is adopted, but also maybe a will. I think the lawyers will be better suited to, go into details of how to go about this process. But definitely there should be a will in place that states and, that this is what will happen in case the parent passes away, the one who adopted the child. But also to ensure that, I don't know, you don't know the dynamics, whether this father was or this man was always showing signs that they do not like the child. So you don't know. So also picking a guardian is also quite important, and a guardian who is responsible. And I think sometimes we don't want to see people for who they are. And it's quite important that we really start having that discerning spirit to see people for who they are. Because if you can see that this person, while you are alive, you need to protect this child, they're probably not going to be the guardian for this child when you are gone. So I think also as society, we need to start really being honest with ourselves about the capacity of the partners that we have. But we don't usually do, we just settle, and it's not always healthy for the children, unfortunately.
We have a conversation on co-parenting, and we've been hearing a lot from the moms, actually. I'm really interested to hear from the dads. Any of the dads that are in a co-parenting situation, how are you making it work? And is it, according to you, is it working? Or are you just keeping the peace? What I've seen often is with fathers, they'll just keep quiet, withdraw, and they say they're keeping the peace. How are you navigating this space? Is it working for you? Many of the moms that have gotten in touch with us are saying that it works for them and they are finding a way. But is it the same for the dads? I have a WhatsApp message here from someone, and I think this is a dad. Someone saying, hi, the co-parenting thing is not working for me. My ex refuses to talk to my wife about the child and insists only on talking to me. Yet my wife is the one who's taking care of my son. My wife buys very expensive clothes, designer brands for my son, which my wife is always not happy about. This is now causing issues in my marriage. And you hear this a lot, right, Dr. Dumi? The fact that, the one spouse or the wife doesn't want to talk to the other woman because who is this other woman anyway? I had this child with you. I want to communicate with you.
Yeah, it's quite tricky when it comes to, people who, as I said, are struggling to put the child's needs first. Because at the end of the day, as the guy is saying in the voice note or in the letter, that he is married, therefore when this child visits him, that wife is there. So of course you want to have a good relationship, a cordial relationship with the mother or the mother figure when you are not there, because you cannot be triggered. And I think that's where also, people have different parenting styles. And I think the ex or the mother, the biological mother, needs to also make peace with the type of partner the husband or the ex-husband has chosen to be with, right? Because sometimes we want to be controlling in that situation, but the only thing she can control is herself, right? So I think they will have to just agree on what values they want to instill, but still accepting that each of them will not parent the same. Yeah. So I think the biological mother needs assistance to start processing and be assisted to move on, so that the child has a structure that is consistent. And if there is any query, for example, if she feels the child is too spoiled, social workers are always there to intervene. I love social workers when it comes to this, because if there's anything that's causing damage, emotional damage, be it physical damage to any child, they are the ones who are supposed to intervene. So if the mother is genuinely concerned, that is also available to step in, but she cannot, pull strings from her own household.
And is it unreasonable for one parent to say, I don't think you should be buying these clothes for the child, but the other parent says, no, but I like these clothes. We were speaking about designer clothes a little earlier on in the show. The one parent could say, when the child is with us, we wear designer, so we want this child to wear designer. And when you've got a problem with the fact that I'm buying the child these clothes, is it unreasonable for the one parent to say, I'm not comfortable with you buying fancy designer clothes for my child, especially because he comes to come play with my other children who don't have those fancy clothes?
It's quite tricky, but I think we also need to understand that there is no right or wrong way per se of being who you want to be. If you are that person who wears that, yes, but maybe when the child comes through to the other house, maybe she could have clothes that are like the other children's, just for the sake of the child, right? So, but if the child has a voice and actually refuses to change, then there needs to be a sit down from that angle. So blended families are not easy in that way. But as I said, you're talking about adults here. You cannot make the adult change. If they prefer to dress the child in a certain way, if it's not causing harm to the child, then they can dress the child that way. And people are different in how they parent. So yeah, the mother would just have to ensure that she instills the values that she wants to have, the child grow by, so that they understand that they're not defined by, the price of their clothing, for example, but she cannot stop the other parent because it's their right as well. So it's quite complicated, but I'm always of view that if you're struggling, then come through, let's have a chat so that you can understand what you can do to manage the situation, but understanding that at the end of the day, you cannot change adults. If they see nothing wrong with it, there's absolutely nothing you can do.
Let's take some of your voice notes.
Good morning, Moto and Doctor. Look, it is good. It is all good for parents to be civil, for parents to be caring and be responsible for their kids, right? After the separation. However, there's an element of this caring and being civil that leads them to be. It becomes a basis of their intimacy again. They see each other again. And remember, love remembers. They start to see each other again. And unfortunately, that disadvantages the current relationships that they are in. They end up being intimate again and now cheating against what they have with their partners right now. I just want an input from the doctor as to how do you resolve that. Thank you so much. This is Theo from Eduduza.
Siyabonga, Theo, thank you so much for your voice note. Doctor, people going back, let's see where Amanzi have corner, they will ima again. The love will be reignited somehow.
Love is always a risk, right? You don't know what we don't know, right? But the new partner needs to make a conscious decision. And if they pick up that their partner wants to go back there, then and there's nothing you can do about it if they choose to go back there. So it's just like any other relationship where there's cheating, right? So I'm of view that when you step into that relationship, ensure that you will get your needs met. But once your needs are not met, it's sometimes love ends or relationships end. So I think if it's something that you're uncomfortable with, then don't go there, right? If you're uncomfortable with the ex is still communicating and you sense something and you are the type to not enjoy that sort of dynamic, please don't force it. Please don't think I will make it work, because what happens, you tend to fight about it all the time. So when the ex calls, even innocently about the child, it becomes a fight to say, why is this person calling you, forgetting that there's a child. So if it's a situation you can't deal with, my recommendation is stay away.
And sometimes I think it's tricky because the other partner might say, no, I'm not going to quote unquote relapse. I'm not going to go back. This is just about the child, But how do you convince your partner? I think it can get really, really tricky. Come, let's play another voice note.
Good morning, 702 and 702 listeners. Happy Christmas Eve. Your alcohol destroyed my life, and my eyes only open now. I've been an alcoholic for way too long. It just brought me heartache. I just lost, due to alcohol, I lost my job, my family, some of my friends. It was just uncontrollable for me. My ex-husband had to take on the responsibility of our children, a 14-year-old that's in high school and a 10-year-old in primary school. He passed away this year on the 21st of June, 2025. I've been here for the kids since then. Have so many regrets now. The kids are without their father for their first Christmas. I don't know even how I'm going to manage with school opening, as the father was their source of everything, income. There was he didn't even want the co-parenting thing. He said he's got this, and now he's gone, and I don't have this. But I want to please beg and urge you to be responsible over this festive season, and don't have the regrets that I do have now, because why, it is not easy. It is not easy. I am trying to deal with it. As soon as school opens, I'm taking my kids for counseling as they're still dealing with their father's death. And we'll see and take it from there. Leanne out here in Lenasia. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much for your vulnerability, and thank you for getting in touch with us there. I mean, it's a sad one, hey, Dr. Dumi, where she's clearly looking back and she realizes that she's robbed herself of so much of this time with her children, and the the time is gone now, and she's living in regret.
Definitely, addiction is so hard, and I'm hoping that she still has the support group that helped her overcome the addiction, because especially now when there's stress, right, where she's dealing with the husband's death and now the kids, and I'm assuming finances as well are not where she hoped they would be. So I'm really hoping that she still is going for that, because when you are struggling with addiction, unfortunately you are an addict for life, meaning there's always a chance of relapse if there's a lot of stress. So I'm hoping that she still maintains that support system and still goes for the meetings that she needs to go to, and therapy as well, to help her overcome some of the choices that she made. But I'm also glad she's prioritizing, getting the children counseling as well, and I wish her the best.
Yeah. Let's go to our phone lines. I see we've got a call from Fundo in Soweto, who also is in a co-parenting situation. Good morning.
Good morning, KG, and good morning, Justin.
Go ahead, Fundo.
Yeah, I was telling the producer I've got a situation that and for me, co-parenting was better when the child was not going to school, when she was still going to crash.
Yeah, can you just speak into your phone, Mfundo, please?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, much better.
Yeah, so at that moment I could get the child for maybe 2 or 3 months and things like that. But ever since the child started going to school, that is 6 years ago, she's in grade 6 now, I'm only lucky when I get to see her once a year. The only thing that I can do is maybe have a call with her and talk to her over the phone. And I realized that having those frivolous fights with the mother, they don't get me anywhere, because at the end of the day, I feel like I'm hurting my own child. So I just try to keep the peace and let it be. But what pains the most is that it will come across as if I don't care about the child, yet I've got a very good bond with them.
And may I ask, is there a reason why you can only see the child once a year?
Because apparently the child, I'm in Gauteng, and the child is staying with the mother of my ex in Limpopo. So it becomes hard at times, even if school's closed, even if she comes here to Gauteng to her mom, she'll give me, the run around, and until I really get fed up and say, you know what, let me just let it be.
I want to know, Mfundo, do you feel, and you would know this, do you feel like you're making enough of an effort?
I think, as the doctor said, at times you need to be matured. I think I'm making an effort to a matured person. If she feels like I'm not doing my best, I think she should come forward and say this, because I try to do what I can do as the father of the child. And if she feels that I don't want to see the child, there's nothing more I can do about that. Because if I try to fight with her, I feel like she's going to poison the child and say, you see what your father is doing. And then I'll come across as a bad person.
Dr. Dumi?
It's very sad when parents, either male or female, start using the child, in this way where they're punishing the other partner using the child. I'm of view, as I said, that there's systems that protect the child. So I don't know if he's approached a social worker so that, this can be addressed, because he is the father. He does have the right to have access. So I'm of view he should go the legal way, because if you're dealing with someone who is not hearing you, there is no point in trying to force an adult to do something that they don't want to do. But take it up with, as I said, the children's court, or wherever you live. If you don't know where the nearest court is, there is social workers. Just approach them to say, you are the father and this is what's happening, because no parent should be denied access to their own baby. And I'm sorry for his experience.
I actually did, and then when I was there, I was told it is actually the child's right to see both her parents. So as I was there,
Sure.
I felt
How old
like...
is the child?
Sorry?
How old is the child?
She's 12 now.
She's 12.
Yeah.
And
that is not true. If the child is still below 18, unless the child is refusing, or the child was interviewed and she refused, it doesn't make sense to me. Where did you go? Was it the social workers around your area?
It was a social worker that I know, not per se. It was, yeah.
No, I think please go seek a second opinion regarding that. If a child is still below 18, unless they are interviewed and there is some evidence of why the child should not see you, I don't see why you should be denied. So please go seek, professional views regarding this. Go see another social worker, please.
I think we might be mishearing him. Mfundo, are you saying that you went and you were told that it's the child's right to see you?
Yes, that's what they say.
Okay, all right. And then what?
Was it a friend or? Sorry.
Yeah, it was someone that I know. Someone, yeah.
Yeah, I think just go please go to rather a social worker who's not your friend, who's someone who can give you objective advice, so that you can be helped accordingly.
Okay, Mfundo there in Soweto. I really wish that, I hope that you'll be able to find help. I think we can take one more voice note. Okay. All right. I do see that we are running out of time. So to wrap up this conversation, Dr. Dumi, what should parents prioritize at this time of as they move into this journey, as they want to make this as livable but also as pleasant for the child? What should they prioritize in their co-parenting?
Definitely, there should be a parenting plan, so that, each knows their role that they are expected to play emotionally, but also from, a legal viewpoint. But please prioritize consistency, right? Because parents tend to, over time, stop doing the things that they started doing in the beginning of the year for this child. And, manage, I think have open communication. If you're struggling with the telephone, make it emails then, so that just to have communication regarding the baby, but prioritizing the baby all the time. And understand that sometimes you will have different parenting styles, but please, instead of now trying to convince the partner to be different, come and vent to someone like myself who can offer that space, and then maybe a social worker if you see that the child is being harmed in some way. I know that it's difficult when there is still that, emotional baggage, but make sure you process that emotional baggage so you are able to, remove yourself from, looking at the relationship, but rather at the benefit of the child. And also communication, I think, is quite key. Also, when there's a new partner, discussing with the third party. I think the parents who are separating need to actually discuss with the social worker, independent party, about how they should parent when somebody else joins this dynamic, because that should also be put somewhere on paper. I'm of view. Also, there should be some discussion to preempt, the type of relationship that they will have as if all of them move on from each other, because that's quite important, right? And if someone is still struggling with the idea that their partner is going to move on, please come and see me. Then we, deal with it and we navigate it, because the relationships fail sometimes. And yes, there's a child, it's unfair, but you can move on in spite of that relationship that didn't work.
With that, I think that's where we're going to leave it. That conversation on co-parenting, an important one. My guest, Dr. Dumi Mashego, a clinical and sports psychologist, was on the line with us for this conversation. And yes, I hope that you'll be able to, to go into this new chapter, if it's a new chapter for you, better equipped. And I also hope and I wish you all of the very best as you try and navigate this very difficult space.